Hi, how's it going? This is Resident of Collinwood for YouTube, and I'm here to discuss a video about Dark Shadows. Obviously, you guys know I talk Dark Shadows to death on here. Um, what did Victoria Winters see in the drawing room of the Great House in episode 30? Was it a ghost? Yeah, I do think it was a ghost, but I'll get into that in a second. So, to set this scene, you know, Roger Collins was in a car accident, and Burke Devlin is accused, obviously, and eventually Vicky finds the bleeder valve in David's room, confronts him, he runs away, and then just goes. And Elizabeth, yells at her, is mad at her. She doesn't want to believe that David would do that. Carolyn believes. And we've all heard David's a monster, right? Well, David almost tried to kill his dad. Um, it, that's the crazy part of David, right? Like here's this kid who almost kills his dad and tries to kill him. It's like Jesus Christ, right? So David has run away by this point in time. He's at Burke's hotel, and Victoria, all the while, is alone in Collinwood. She is up at the great house all by herself. Elizabeth is out on the ground somewhere in the middle of the rain, yes. Um, that's the craziness of it. What's really cool is the scene in the previous episode where Carolyn mentions that Collinwood by candlelight is a sight, and Carolyn's not wrong. It is a sight. It's a hell of a sight. So here's the storm, episode 30. And you sort of get the storm by the end of the previous episode as well. So here's the storm. It's in full swing, you know, you know, at least up at college finally, and because you do hear it in town. Here's the storm. It's in full swing. And finally, you have Victoria Winters, who's down in the drawing room. She's by herself. She's alone. The drawing room goes shut, the one door that Vicky comes through, and it jams. Now, you know, jams. She tries the doors. It doesn't open. And the oddest part of this is, she is literally terrified. I think everything right here is just plain on Vicky because she's thinking about David. Vicky knows David is the one who tried to kill Roger. She is sure of it. You know, even in earlier, Elizabeth says, I'm a foolish woman. So Elizabeth, by this episode in the beginning, had forgiven her. But I think a lot of things have just weighed on her mind. I don't think her seeing this figure is a trick of her mind either. So Victoria Winters walks to the doors. She tries to open them, can't, walks away from them. The doors blow open, wide open, and the thunder's crashing. You can hear, and then you see this figure just standing there, and she's saying, "Who's there?" And you can clearly hear her, which they could too, and the figure doesn't answer her. This, a lot of people say when Josette comes out of the portrait is the first time you see a ghost. Actually, this technically, or this here is the first time you see a ghost because Josette is after, even after I think Bill Malloy. But so right here is when you actually see a ghost. And no, this is not the ghost of Bill Malloy because keep in mind, in episode 30, Bill Malloy is still alive because a couple episodes later, we see Bill Malloy talking to Constable Jonas Carter. And for those who forget who that is, Constable Jonas Carter was the one who investigated the bleeder valve incident. We get Sheriff George Patterson after this. So we never hear from Constable Carter ever again, sadly, which is really interesting. So again, Vicky sees this figure. Again, it's not the ghost of Bill Malloy. So who did Victoria Winters see? It would be really, really easy to say the ghost of Josette because they do play the music that they play with Josette when Josette comes out of the portrait later. It would be all too easy, right? I have a more interesting theory. Again, if you just want to go with Josette, you can. I wouldn't blame you because even my theory is far fetched, and this is what I'm going to say. This is the ghost of Victoria Winters' dead father. That's right, Vicky's father is dead. This and he did die in that house, maybe even in the drawing room. And this is him standing there, and he just doesn't know what to say to her. And maybe he can't say. Now, some might say this could be the ghost of first real appearance of the ghost of Jeremiah Collins, because if you look carefully, it sort of matches what, you know, I don't know, is it me or does it look like there might be bandages on the face? I know we can't really see it, but it almost seems like there's some sort of cloth on the face a bit in the, like when the thunder hits. Maybe it's me, maybe I'm just imagining it. I know we can't really see the face, but there's a moment when the thunder hits, you're almost able to sort of maybe see a little something, and it looks like there might be something over it. So it could be the ghost of Jeremiah Collins, or it could, but I like to think this is the ghost of Vicky's father, actually, and we never get to see it again because so many other things take place after this, and they really do. I mean, look, Dark Shadows is really great at being episodic of where boom, one domino hits the other and it just falls in place and it keeps going and going and going and going. I can't snap my fingers, I'm horrible at it. Um, so that's something that really happens to just where Dark Shadows is really great. It's a series that has great momentum to it where when you watch one episode literally falls into another and the episodes just continue and continue and continue, and it's great that way. In my opinion, I do think this is Victoria's father's ghost who died in the drawing room. Now again, could this just be the ghost of Jeremiah or the ghost of Josette? Sure, it could be. But in my opinion, this is the ghost of Victoria's father. I think there's method to why the ghost doesn't speak to Victoria. It doesn't know what to say. I mean, would you really? Here's your daughter who you've was abandoned, and maybe the reason Victoria's father is dead is because he was killed. Some people have, speculated Paul Stoddard is Vicky's father. I don't. I think Vicky's father did work for the Collins family, though. I don't think it was Paul, or because Paul didn't die. That's the one thing you gotta remember. Paul's not actually dead. Um, but I do think Victoria's father is dead. I think there's a reason we never see Victoria's father ever in the series. That he is dead. I do think there is something to a ghost of Victoria's father that could be explained in episode 30, because I do think Elizabeth is hiding more than just Vicky's lineage. There's a reason to hide that lineage that Elizabeth hasn't said about. Maybe he was killed by somebody who had worked there, who, you know, and Elizabeth, you know, maybe Elizabeth did kill somebody, and it was Vicky's father. We never know. Again, there's a lot of things to consider when you think about that first shape. And again, back to Jeremiah, it could have been the ghost of Jeremiah Collins. Jeremiah Collins never really did live to see the full construction of the great house, a house he and Joshua wanted built. So, or especially Joshua. So, why shouldn't he haunt it? Here's this ghost who was killed in a duel. And look, the Collins family history does lie and like insist that Jeremiah lived a lot longer than what he actually did live. So why shouldn't he haunt that house? Shouldn't he haunt, you know, people who are associated with that family, let alone one of them? And then obviously there's the ghost of Josette, who we do see later on as the first official ghost, if you will. So this could just be the ghost of Josette. I don't think there's a wrong answer here with this. But in my opinion, I do think this is the ghost of Victoria Winter's father. And I know that's not really an answer people would want, because people will say, who is Vic? I think that's the greatest thing. We don't know. You know, there's not really been an answer from a canon standpoint of that. I know, but I know that there was an interview given that, but, and books written and stuff like that, and interviews given on who, but from a television series standpoint, we don't know. And that's where I'll leave that. I do think it's one of the most creepiest moments ever, prior to the Phoenix arc, prior to seeing Josette's ghost. This moment just gives you chills when it happens. You're not expecting it at all. The lights go out, the wind's blowing. You're just thinking this is just going to be another one of those moments in Dark Shadows where they're just going to fake scare you. And they sort of do that early on too in Dark Shadows when, with David. I thought David at first was a ghost of a boy coming down steps, but he wasn't. So I thought this was another one of those moments, but no, it wasn't. It's actually a ghost. Chad Moore, you are right. I actually read your comment before I did this video. He is right. This is a ghost. This is a ghost standing in the drawing room, and it's amazing how it's done. It's beautifully set up, and it's a pure joy. I'm gonna tag as many people as I can in this. Really, really fun. I'm also gonna leave some links. A link to this. Now, interesting enough, on YouTube, I found the video of this, and somebody put the first appearance of Barnabas Collins. No, it's not Barnabas. Um, but again, it is interesting to look at that silhouette and wonder, who did Vicky see? It really is. And obviously a link to the first appearance of Josette, which I think will help some people with this out too, because I'm not sold this is Josette. I know they play the music, Robert Cabrera's legendary score that goes with the ghost, the appearance of Josette. It's a beautiful score. It's really well done. Again, this whole scene is it's just beautifully done and beautifully set up. and it's very, very chilling and eerie for an old time show. But it is what it is from a ghost standpoint because again, we don't really know who it is. We don't really see. The most you can really make out, other than I think you can't really make out the face, but to me, if you watch carefully, it looks like there's something, some sort of cloth over the face. Maybe it's me, maybe I'm just seeing some things. You can't make out color because again, it's in black and white, and you can sort of see like they're wearing modern day clothes too, which again, I think that's just more other things, but I really think this is a ghost. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know technically I really didn't answer this question, and I don't because I don't know who this could be. This could be the ghost of Josette Dupre Collins, who we see later, way, way later. And again, they do use the music, so, but also this could be the ghost of Jeremiah Collins, who we just, we see much later, much, much, much later when, Angelique resurrects him after death, which is good, eerie. Um, God, that face. Uh, 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 chilling. And again, I think this could be the ghost of Victoria Winter's father. And there's just, she's scared. She's scared of what she's seeing because she's not sure of what she's seeing. And again, who would be? You want to tell yourself ghosts aren't real, to sort of have peace with yourself. And I think we're all telling ourselves at that moment with Vicky, there's no such thing. There's no such thing. And it's very, very chilling. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I've had a blast on it. You guys have a great night.